Good afternoon. Welcome to Recovering Perfectionist Mama, Grace in Progress. My name is Buffy. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. Happy to have you. If you're a returning viewer, also welcome. Happy to have you. We are surrounded by noise, advice, opinions, algorithms, expectations. Everyone seems to have an answer on how you should live, parent, believe, heal, or succeed because they seem to know more than us or think they do. But somewhere along the way, many of us stopped listening to that one voice that actually lives inside of us. Today's episode is about the art of listening to yourself, not impulsively, not emotionally, but wisely. It's about listening to trust, learning to trust your inner voice again. After years of outsourcing your decisions, second-guessing your instincts, or ignoring those quiet nudges that tried to guide you, this isn't about ego. It's not about doing whatever you feel. It's about discernment and learning to hear the truth that speaks softly, but consistently within you. Why we stop listening to ourselves. Most of us weren't born disconnected from our inner voice. We learned to disconnect. We were told, don't be so sensitive. You're overthinking. You don't know enough yet. Listen to the experts. Trust the process, not your feelings. And slowly, we internalized the idea that other people knew better than we did. So we learned to override our instincts, ignore discomfort, rationalize red flags. Oh, that's just the way he is. Wait for permission. And while external wisdom can be helpful, it was never meant to replace your own discernment. Let's talk about what your inner voice actually is. Let's clarify something really important. Your inner voice is not anxiety, it's not impulse, it's not emotional reactivity, it's not fear-based urgency. Your inner voice is calm, steady, persistent, quiet, but consistent. It doesn't shout, it nudges. For instance, when I know that something is up, I generally feel a nudge in my stomach, and that is what works for me. And I'll tell you a personal story. I actually had a car accident when I was 16. Another girl ran a yield sign and hit me. Had some injuries there. But at that time, I wasn't wearing my seatbelt because I thought my seatbelt was uncomfortable and that I didn't need to wear it. That was a lie, of course. But anyway, so I heard this voice in my head that was like, you need to put your seatbelt on today. And it saved my passenger and I from going through a windshield. Another incident that I had is, when you're in college, everybody's all friendly and everything. And so I wanted to go to Denny's and all my friends were busy. So this guy was like, hey, I'll go with you, I'll drive, whatever. And so I go over to get into his car and I put my hand on his door handle, and I feel something push me back. And I was like, okay, I'm a slow learner, but this is not good. Later, he did go to Denny's with me and everything, didn't eat anything, all that, was very judgmental, very nasty, had some really choice words for women. So if you know. And at one point I was like, this is why I was not going to get in the car with this guy, because I probably would have been a victim of a crime, death or otherwise. I don't know, but not a good dude, right? So I think I truly believe in your discernment and listening to it and honing it and working on it because it's really important. It often sounds like that doesn't feel right, which was my exact thought. Slow down. There's more here. This isn't aligned. Wait. Wisdom rarely screams. Fear does. Why trusting yourself feels scary. Trusting your inner voice means taking responsibility of your choices. And that can feel terrifying if you've been criticized for your mistakes, you've been punished for honesty, you've learned that being wrong equals failure. Self-trust feels risky because it requires courage. But here's the truth. Not trusting yourself doesn't eliminate the risk. It just hands your power over to someone else who is not going to take ultimate responsibility for if things don't work out for you. The cost of not listening. When we ignore our inner voice long enough, resentment builds, burnout sets in, anxiety increases, disconnection deepens. You may feel restless, indecisive, chronically unsure, emotionally exhausted, because part of you knows deep down that you're not listening. Discernment versus impulse. There's a huge difference in this. Listening to yourself doesn't mean acting immediately. Discernment involves pausing, reflecting, sitting with a decision, and noticing patterns over time. Impulse demands speed. Discernment invites patience. A helpful question. Does this feel rushed or rooted? Inner wisdom is rooted. Let's talk about actionable tips and strategies. Create space for silence. Your inner voice cannot compete with constant noise. Practice quiet mornings, reflective walks, journaling without editing, moments without input. Stillness creates clarity. Ask internal questions. What should I do? Ask what feels aligned. What brings peace, not pressure? What would I choose if I trusted myself? And that is probably a difficult question to ask. Track patterns, not moments. Inner guidance reveals itself over time. Notice repeated discomfort, recurring nudges, themes that won't go away. Wisdom is often repetitive. Practice small acts of self-trust. You don't start with big life questions. Start with saying no when you mean no. Resting when you're tired. Choosing what nourishes you. Honoring boundaries. Trust grows through practice. Regulate before you decide. If you're anxious, angry, or overwhelmed, pause. Your inner voice speaks most clearly when your nervous system is calm. Trust builds relationship with yourself. Self-trust isn't about perfection. It's about relationship. The more you listen, the clearer it becomes. The safer it feels. The stronger your confidence grows. You don't have to get it right every time. You just have to keep listening. This week, practice one moment of intentional listening. Pause before responding. Sit with a decision overnight. Honor one inner nudge, no matter how small. And if this episode resonated, share it with someone who's learning to trust themselves again. And feel free to like and subscribe if you like what you see here. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Come back and see us again sometime. Bye-bye.